The door clicks, the bolt slides, and just like that, the air in the room changes. To you, it's the start of a commute, a grocery run, or a dinner date. But for the dog standing on the other side of that wood, the world just ended. You see that face in the thumbnail, those watery, wide eyes and that furrowed brow. That isn't just a dog being dramatic. That is the face of a creature whose entire survival strategy has just been ripped away. Most people think separation anxiety is a behavioral issue. It's not. It's a neurological crisis. We call it the ditched dog phenomenon because in a dog's mind, there is no such thing as "I'll be back in an hour." They don't have clocks. They don't have calendars. They have now and forever. And right now, forever feels like a death sentence. To a dog, your departure isn't a temporary absence. It is a fundamental breach of the pack structure. For 10,000 years, we have bred these animals to be our shadows, to look to us for every cue on how to exist. And then we expect them to flip a switch and be perfectly fine in a vacuum of silence. When you walk out that door, a biological cascade begins. Within 60 seconds, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, sends a high-voltage signal to the adrenal glands. Cortisol and adrenaline flood the bloodstream. This is the exact same chemical cocktail a deer feels when it's being hunted by a wolf. But here's the tragedy. Your dog isn't being hunted. They are sitting in a temperature-controlled living room on a plush rug, and yet their heart is hammering against their ribs at 160 beats per minute. Their body is telling them to run for their life, but they are trapped in a box. Imagine that feeling, your skin crawling, your breath shortening, a scream building in your throat, and having nowhere for that energy to go. This is where the silent panic becomes dangerous. We've all seen the videos of dogs tearing up couches or chewing through drywall. We call that bad behavior, and we get frustrated. We see the ruined $2,000 sofa and we feel anger. But look at it through their eyes. That dog isn't trying to destroy your furniture. They are trying to dig a hole through the physical world to get to you. They are using their teeth and claws as tools of desperation, because the psychological pain of being ditched has become physically unbearable. They are literally trying to chew their way out of their own skin. But then there are the others, the ones who don't bark, the ones who don't chew. This is the group most owners fail because their suffering is invisible. These dogs enter a state of learned helplessness. They pace in tight, repetitive circles until their paw pads are raw, creating a permanent track in your carpet. They stand at the door, nose pressed to the crack, inhaling the fading scent of your departure for 6 hours straight without moving a muscle. Their saliva becomes thick and ropey from thirst, but they won't drink. Their favorite bone sits 2 feet away, but they won't touch it. Their brain has effectively shut down everything except the wait command. This is catatonic terror. They are essentially frozen in time, waiting for the only person who makes the world make sense to reappear. Why does this happen? It's because we've spent 10,000 years breeding dogs to be our shadows. We created the Velcro dog by design, and now we're punishing them for the very loyalty we hard-coded into their DNA. We have built an animal that views isolation as a predator. When you leave, you aren't just leaving a pet, you are leaving a pack member whose entire identity is tethered to your presence. In the wild, being separated from the pack is a death sentence. Your dog doesn't know you're just at the office. Their DNA is telling them they are vulnerable, alone, and marked for death. To fix this, we have to stop the sequence. Your dog is a master of patterns, a world-class detective of your habits. They know the exact sound of your specific car engine. They know the jingle of your house keys versus your car keys. They know the specific thud of your work bag hitting the counter. They know that when you put on those specific boots, the big loneliness is coming. By the time you're actually locking the door, their stress levels are already at a 9 out of 10. You've been telegraphing your departure for 20 minutes, and every move you made was a hammer blow to their confidence. You were building the fire long before you ever struck the match. If you want to save them from this panic, you have to become a ghost. You have to deconstruct the ritual of leaving until it means absolutely nothing. This means putting on your coat and then sitting down to eat a bowl of cereal. This means picking up your keys and then going to fold laundry. This means putting on your leaving shoes and then taking a nap on the sofa. You have to flood their brain with these departure cues so often, without actually leaving, that the cues lose their sting. You are essentially boring them into a state of calm. You want your dog to look at you grabbing your wallet and think, whatever, they've done this 5 times today and nothing happened. You are stripping the keys of their power. You are turning the sequence into white noise. But the real work happens in the silence of the exit itself. We have to stop the goodbye ritual. That high-pitched, emotional bye-bye, be a good boy, mommy loves you. That is poison. You think you're comforting them, but you're actually signaling a crisis. You are injecting high-intensity energy into an already volatile situation. You are essentially saying, look at me, something massive is happening, I'm leaving. When you leave, it should be as insignificant as walking into the kitchen for a glass of water. No eye contact, no touch, no talking. You become invisible. You leave when they are in a state of calm, not when they are staring at you with that thumbnail look of desperation. The same goes for when you return. This is the hardest part for most owners. When you walk through that door and your dog is exploding with relief, screaming and jumping and spinning, if you mirror that energy, you are confirming their fear. You are telling them, you were right to be terrified. My return is a miracle. It was dangerous for me to be gone. Every time you have a reunion party, you reinforce the idea that your absence was a tragedy that just ended. Instead, walk past them. Ignore the frantic greeting until their heart rate drops. Put your bags down, take off your shoes, maybe even check the mail. Wait for the sigh. Wait for them to sit. Wait for the moment their eyes stop darting. Only then, when the adrenaline has cleared the system, do you acknowledge them. You are teaching them that your absence is a non-event and your return is a normal, boring part of life. We owe them this. We brought them into our human world, a world of walls, locks, and schedules they can't understand. We ask them to spend 90% of their lives waiting for us in a house they cannot leave. We have forced a social, pack-oriented predator into a life of solitary confinement for 8 hours a day. The least we can do is give them the tools to wait in peace rather than in panic. We have to be the leaders they need, which means having the discipline to be boring. It means having the strength to ignore their excitement, so we can preserve their peace. Look at that dog in the thumbnail one more time. That gaze isn't an accident. It's a plea for help from a brain that is drowning in stress hormones. Don't just leave them to suffer in the dark. Don't just ditch them and hope for the best. Prepare them. Train the silence. Because to you, it's just a Tuesday afternoon. To them, you are the only reason the sun comes up and the only reason the world keeps turning.